Hello, hello. Hey, Remy. Hey, Schwartz. Hey, Chef Alton. Preemptive. Hey, guys. Pretty clever of you, Remy. So today we are going to be working on Steam Cloud. I started looking at this the other day, and I think a couple things happened. One, I was feeling a little bit overwhelmed, and two is that I then read the documentation for this, and it's pretty long, and I had a lot of questions reading it. So I read through it again yesterday. I came up with a plan. I still have a bunch of questions, but hopefully we can actually tackle some of this. I also came up with, I put the today command right. Yeah, I also came up with some tasks that we can do. So yeah, first boot, if there's a cloud save, use that. If there's no cloud save, but there's a non-cloud save, migrate that. And if there's nothing, then just make a new save file. Yeah. I was too early and now I'm too late. No one's claimed first already, right? And Phil, I keep forgetting if I said hi to you. Hi, Phil. Is it this stream you're going to boil water and watch water vapor gasify and go into the air? Yes. Yes. That is what Steam Cloud is. There's nothing to do with saving. We're going to make a new water-based hard drive. Okay, let's see. So I have to use these APIs. All right, let's go take a look. So there's a first boot kind of thing. First settings. First. It has first in the name. That's all I remember. All right, well, let's search for this and see if we can find it. Oh, we're finding all this stuff. Where are you? It's probably in the game saver, actually. What am I doing? Or no, local settings saver? Ah, figure out first time settings. Okay, where's this called from? Load. So the file doesn't exist. Figure out first time settings. And if the version doesn't exist, figure out first time settings. Okay. Pretty sure you could store data in water molecules. I don't know enough about how that would work. I mean, I guess you technically could even without anything special, right? You could technically just put the water in different buckets or something, and then the buckets could represent binary. So even in that, from that point of view, it'd be possible to do it with any material, right? Like imagine if you had a pile of like 3 beans and then 4 beans and then 2 beans, that could mean something. All right, so where do we call load from? This should be in main. Yeah, main scene initial state. And where is this used? It's just what we started. Okay. That's pretty reasonable. So this is where we would put in some Steam code, I think. This is so difficult. So difficult to think about. It's not going to be so bad once I actually have something. Hey, TJ. I hate to find evil. If you're able to know the position of a water molecule with infinite precision, you can encode infinite data. Yeah, but what's practical? So we make the save data, we get the save file path, and we serialize it. We would first need to figure out... So this would be checking for the cloud save path, right? So I think I have the logic here. If there's a cloud save, use that. If there's no cloud save, but there's a non-cloud save version, migrate that. So this file path needs to be the cloud save file path. Oh, man. ABC. Everything on schedule? Yeah, everything is on schedule. And thanks for checking out the shorts. Yeah, so my plan for this week is today, Steam Cloud, which is very important, I think. Tomorrow is probably like 2 more shorts, maybe. Then Thursday, I think we do some perf investigations and improvements. And then I think we just work on the backlog after that. At some point, what I want to do is I want to spend time adding delightful features. Little things for people to discover. All right. So we have get save file path. Both of these have this same thing. How do they work? They look very similar. Yeah, they are very similar. Why? The only thing different is this. In fact, this one can call the other one, can't it? Let me just make sure. All right, we have a lot of changes we got to make. Hey, do I like Thor? Oh, oh my God. All right, so here's what I do as a streamer. I look at the first letter of a name, the relative length, and the color. So I'm like, oh, that's Define Evil asking me this. Sorry. Hi. Yeah, delightful features will make a game go from good to great. Yeah, I think so. And also, it just shows that kind of love was put into the game. And I certainly did put a lot of love into this game. All right, so these should be exactly the same functions. Those are exactly the same. Yep. This, I'm just going to look at all the lines that are the same, which should be all of them except for this one line here. This is the same. This is the same. I just want to make sure I'm not like skipping over this. And yeah, okay, cool. So those are all the same. So this is the only thing that's different. And the only thing that's different about it is what we pass in. So yeah, we can just use the other setting. So we could say return game saver dot get save file path done. Look at how much cleaner that function is. Okay. So now we need a way of getting the save file, the local save file, and the cloud save file. What is this? This is just a name. And the path that we take is going to be different. Oh boy. Have we solved our Steam Deck woes? Yeah, I think everything's pretty much solved there. There are some little rough edges with some of the controller support, but I think in general, people should be able to play the game. But hi, Sorrow. And we could fix some of that stuff before it launches. But yeah, as long as I tackled the biggest things. What was that occlusion of the button that was happening? That was because the game is running at 1920 by 1080, but the Steam Deck is only 1280 by 800. And for whatever reason, it means that those bottom 280 pixels just aren't clickable. So I did give you a point yesterday. You were on the right path. And I already had discovered this, by the way, which is why I had a number here. Where is it? If I search for 1079, I'll find it. Yeah, here it is. I had a number which, if the screen was at this height or less, then we would full screen the game from the beginning. And it was set to 800, which means that the Steam Deck would have this setting applied. But back in December, I was testing something and I set it back to windowed and forgot. So I assumed that it would never have been in windowed mode. And then I was wondering, was it a bug that it was in windowed mode? But no, it was very likely just me testing something. All right, so we're going to need some like bool use Steam Cloud directory. Oh, man. Yeah. It is good knowledge to have. It's also, well, it's hopefully fixed. I guess if someone enters windowed mode on a device that can't handle it, they might find it very difficult to change that. In fact, they might find it impossible. I might want to do something about that. If someone is on a Steam Deck or any device with a resolution whose height is less than 1080. Well, it has to be a lot less than 1080. It could be possible that they change to windowed mode and then are unable to change back. With a controller, it should always be possible, but with a mouse, it may not be. Yeah, I don't know what we'll do about that. All right, so we pass in use Steam Cloud directory, get save file path. Oh, God. This is so difficult. Hey, Goose. Yeah, every single time we save, we need to figure out what path to use. How do we figure that out? How do we know where to save? I guess it's just wherever we tried loading from, which we figure out at startup. So we just save, are we using the cloud or not? Hmm. There's so many different scenarios here that I have to cover. Like one of them is that you're running, you got the game from itch, but Steam is running. I think it's still going to try saving to Steam Cloud unless I bake something into the executable itself saying don't ever use Steam Cloud. Yeah, I try to time ads with my break, but the very first one is at 5 minutes into the stream, so I can't do anything about that. Yeah, do we need to bake something into the executable that lets it know whether it's on itch or Steam? The itch version should probably never use Steam Cloud. Oh man, yeah, I don't think there's any other way we could do this. I think we'd have to tell the binary itself. Which means we're uploading two separate versions, one to Steam, one to itch. Oh no, I understand. Define evil, yeah. Sorry, I'm on like semi-autopilot because this is a tough problem. Hey, Xyletics. Yeah, I don't know how else we would do this. If we don't have any information about our target platform, then we can't know whether or not you should use Steam. You may have downloaded from itch and run with Steam open once, but then not again. Yeah, this isn't even that bad. Like if eventually whatever I do is going to turn into just some static Boolean, like is itch specific version or something like that. And then if this is true, we just don't ever use Steam Cloud. And we don't even try initializing Steam. In fact, we wouldn't even need to bundle the Steam stuff in. Although that's kind of splitting hairs. And it actually is kind of neat that you get Steam achievements even when you're playing through itch. Wait, no, is that true? I don't know if that's true. You need to own the game on Steam for that to happen. Probably. Yeah, you must have to own it. And why would you buy both versions? Well, anyway, so then I think the real problem, it's not like how do we use the Boolean, it's how do we get the Boolean into the executable. And that's going to be annoying. Oh, man. All right, fine. This is so stupid. So if we're on Steam, we're going to try using Steam Cloud. Yeah, and whenever saving, if we're on Steam, try using Steam Cloud. Hey, Devil Dog, can you check for ownership in Steam and then use that as your switch? Is that a thing? So you could probably, but you still need to know which version you launched. Like, let's say you owned both the itch and the Steam version, and let's say itch eventually has their own achievements, which they don't right now, but let's say they did, and Steam has their own achievements. Like, you'd probably want to know based on that. I don't know. I just don't want it to... I don't want people to get the itch version and then be like, why isn't my save file there anymore? And it's like, well, you had Steam running the first time and not the second time. And if Steam's not running, we wouldn't be able to get you the path. Oh, man. All right. Yeah. So how do we get a Boolean into, or not even a, well, yeah, Boolean, I guess, into just the itch version? We zip everything before uploading. So we would need to zip in a file like is itch version. Alternatively, we could modify the project settings to add a flag, but then we need to build twice. I'd love to avoid building twice, but we already have the machinery to do this. We have, yeah, tag features right here. So the way this works is we add in a list of features. The features go into project.godot, some features thing up here somewhere, right? Yeah, here it is. So we have things like 4.4, C#, forward plus. We could put itch in here or Steam or whatever we want, and then just detect that it's there. That's easy enough to do. Problem is, you put those features in and then you export the builds. I don't know where this goes inside the exported build. If we could just modify that single string, hey Pressel, then it'd be a lot easier. Let's see if we can maybe figure this out from here. Mac. There's Skeleseller, open exported Mac build. Where does this put it? Unzip path is temp delete me. Okay, so if we go into this, could we find, what did I even make? The release version? I guess we search for 4.4. This is probably not going to find anything. Or it's going to find everything. Well, well, well. Game depths. This is interesting because I was going to say we could kind of exploit this a little bit, but that's probably a bad idea. All right, let's go into contents. What else do we have in here? Mac OS just has, what, the executable? Yeah. And then there's package info, input IP list. I don't think these things help me at all. Can I open this thing? No, and plist files aren't. Oh wait, no, I can read the plist file. These are in the export settings. Hey, just have. Keep passing compiler flags and then check with ifdef. Yeah, so okay, let me say this. I have a solution that will work, and it is set tag A, build, upload, and then set tag B, build, upload. And I was just curious, is there a way to not have to build again? Like a compiler flag is something that gets built in. So the only thing I could think of is we put a different file into the upload, which we don't have an easy way to do that. Couch, thanks for the resub. Happy third of a year. So we could have like an isitch.txt or issteam.txt. Hey, Doro. Doing CI. Well, just trying to differentiate between the Steam and the itch versions, which does kind of sort of turn into CI, but it's not continuous. It's just me putting this in once. Let me take a look. Whoops, it's an export, isn't it? Yeah, here. Resources. Oh, wait a second. We could, no, but we need to build twice. I don't know how to avoid building twice. Hey, Franken. I think the only way to avoid building twice is to add an external file. Yeah, I think that's it. Option 1, bake it in as a feature, which would involve building twice. Option 2 is include it as, or like base it on the existence of a file, which may not require building twice. Look, in the end, building twice is not the worst thing in the world. It just adds like a minute and a half to the total export time. Although now that I think about it, maybe we could parallelize those exports. I didn't think about that. Like I do have a pretty beefy machine. And right now we have 3 build processes. What I'm proposing is that we have 6, but if I parallelize them, we could potentially do all 6 at once. And we might even get them done faster than we get 3 of them done. I didn't think about that. Although parallelizing the build is something we could do regardless. Maybe I'll just write that down for now. We could parallelize release tool, at least for exporting builds. I don't know if Godot has a problem with that. Like, can we run multiple instances? We probably can. All right, well, maybe I'm belaboring this. Maybe we should use a way that works. So let me think about this. We have modify export presets. The thing is, we don't know what you're uploading to ahead of time. We build everything because there's only one build we have to do. But we'd have to ask you ahead of time, do you want itch? Do you want Steam? And then you could say yes or no. Well, you have to say yes to at least one, I guess. Otherwise, you're not doing anything. And then we build specific versions for those. There are other simplifications we could make here. Like option 3, ignore this and just use Steam Cloud if Steam is open. This could lead to an itch player losing their save. Well, not losing, but in quotes, losing their save file because they play once with Steam open and once without. I don't think that's acceptable. Is there any other solution that I have? Well, let's examine option 2 for a little bit. In fact, I even wrote something about this somewhere, didn't I? Godot exports. Godot exports everything to a .pck file, and some licenses stipulate the file must be included in an easily viewable way. Most users would not consider opening a PCK file easy. We don't need it outside of the PCK file, though. We need to zip twice. How do you include other... Probably just like this, right? Yeah, we could just put in a JSON file here. But that's part of the export. The export's what takes forever. Because it's putting it into that PCK file. I don't think there's any getting around this. Unless we like directly modified a PCK file, which I don't know how fast that would be. And either way, it's not like it's straightforward. Yeah, I think we just build twice. Oh, yuck. Okay, well, whatever. Fine. That's what we should do. That's what we're going to do. So let's go do it. I think we should go with this route. Whoops. Remind me later. So what do we need to do to support this route? I need to know whether you're uploading to Steam or itch because now we're making specific versions for those. So changes to release tool. We need to know ahead of time which platforms you want, Steam or itch, so that we build the right things. Parallelize the builds so that hopefully this goes much faster. Oh, you know what I want to try? I want to try just running this right now so that we can figure out how much faster it'll get when we parallelize it. So if I just do that, I do this. I think that'll work. Oh, now the game's not going to build though. Oh. Ah. Hey, Cypher. Oh, no. All right, let's delete everything that we put in here. Yeah, now I think it'll build. All right, I just want to time this. Do we already have the command somewhere? Oh, by the way, I learned something kind of interesting. You can start Steam without the console showing, and then you can run... You can go to this in your browser. Steam://open/console, and it'll just add the console field there. You don't need to start it with the -console command, which is obnoxious for me. So yeah, this is pretty cool. I didn't know about this. I found out about it yesterday through their documentation. All right, well, somewhere I have the command for this. Where is it? Here, yeah, this. Okay, so run this from the root directory. Easy peasy. And it times itself, so I don't even need to do anything. So we can just ignore that. All right, I need to know ahead of time which platforms we want, and then based on the platform we're targeting, add different features, and then revert the revert project.godot in between. Yuck. I don't like this at all. Oh, and then I can't parallelize the... Oh, darn it. Wow. Yeah. I can't do this between platforms since they read project.godot to export. I just feel like I'm making a mistake. I want to think about this for a little bit longer. Current time just to run export on 3 builds. It's done with one of them. I'm guessing it's about 1.5 minutes. And I think if we parallelize these, it could probably go down to 30 seconds. Which would be pretty cool. We'd save a minute. So that even if we parallelize 2 of these things, it's only taking a total of 1 minute instead of a total of 1.5 minutes. Just using more resources on my machine, which I don't care about. Should finish very soon. There it goes. So it took 1 minute and 31 seconds. 1M31S. Okay, let's look some things up. Godot, like tag platform after exporting. Is that possible? Can we do that? Feature tag after exporting. I don't think this is a thing. Yeah, I don't think this is a thing. Also, this is old. Where's the current documentation? Latest, stable, stable. I mean, technically, I should be looking at it for 4.4, but it's probably not different between 4.4 and 4.6. Platform type, desktop, mobile, web. Whether build a debugger release. What a shame. What a shame. It's oh, wait. Oh, my God. What we could do is we could export. We could have an export preset for itch and for Steam. Oh, I didn't think about that. Yes, this is just Mac, Windows, and Linux. We could have Mac, itch, Mac, Steam, Windows, itch, Windows, Steam. Oh, that's smart. I mean, we're still building twice, but we could parallelize the whole thing. Yeah, I think so. So make export presets based on the platform. Mac, itch, Mac, Steam. They would have features baked in for which target or which like platform they're targeting. Where's features here? So custom, yeah, we just add in like Steam here. I think that should work. Hey, Kevin. Rami beat you to that joke. In a different way, though. Man. I still think this is going to be tedious to do. I just can't think of any other way to solve this. Hey, Ocleus. You know ahead of time which platform you want so that we build the right things. Based on the platform we're targeting, add different features. So this wouldn't be done anymore. This would be here. Revert, we don't need to do this anymore. Parallelize the builds. And make sure when uploading that we pull from the correct output, since they'll be platform specific now. So the only reason we're doing this is because of Steam Cloud. Okay, so part of the conflict here is the technical part, which is how do we do this, which I think I figured out. The other part of this is how much time is this going to take? Like I was originally, when I started out, today was supposed to be about just add in Steam Cloud, right? Check some paths, save some files, test it out, and we're done. And now what it's turned into is change my release process so that we can detect the difference between itch and Steam. Practically, and I'll be transparent here, so itch will probably be a small fraction of the total sales. And that's what kind of makes me feel like to do anything to accommodate itch users is probably not worth the time. And yet, this is what I'm thinking of doing, is changing the release flow, potentially adding in bugs, potentially increasing the amount of time it takes every single time I release now. But yeah, I can't think of any other, like if I want to prioritize itch at all, I think we need to know that we're running on itch. Otherwise, you could hit save file issues. Maybe show window in game when Steam is not running. Continue without Steam. The thing is, you might have downloaded the itch version. So if Steam's not running, you're like, of course I'm continuing without Steam. Like, I didn't get the Steam version. And presumably everyone, this is probably accurate. Presumably everyone who uses itch knows that Steam exists. Whereas the opposite might not be true. So it's like they chose itch for a reason. We shouldn't jam Steam down their throats. That brings me to an interesting point here, which is that I should not even initialize Steam if you're on the itch build. Stop initializing Steam if you're on the itch build. Hey, Floop, would it be possible to create a launch flag, like enable Steam, and tell one platform to use that? That's an interesting idea. That probably would be possible. I don't know why I didn't think of that. Option 4, a command line argument to the executable. I don't know what controls that, though. On Steam... Okay, wait. Maybe it's not totally possible. Because, yeah, I think the issue is on itch, you'll always download as a raw executable. We could have the default be run on itch, or like we could have the argument be run on Steam to accommodate that. But then Steam users could also directly run the executable, their executable, in which case it wouldn't use Steam. Yeah, okay, I don't think that'll work. If you launch through Steam, we can control how you run it. But if you launch it just from the file on your machine, we couldn't control that. Although maybe you could, I don't know. I don't know if it's worth worrying about. I think I'm still leaning toward this option 1. Itch does have a launcher, but I don't think many people use it. And we always have to accommodate that you might not have used it. Now, that said, we could have like itch and Steam is itch and is Steam baked into the executable with command line ways to override that behavior. This is like 100% optional. I don't think there's even a reason to do that. What happens if you run Steam version when Steam is not running? You'll not lose the save. I don't know. Because the way they recommend doing this directly in their documentation, where's their documentation? Is they say when deciding where to write your save files, be sure the path will be unique for the current Steam user. The current Steam user, you can only fetch if Steam is running. Or well, maybe not. Maybe that's not true. Maybe there's a way to fetch it because there's some like well-known location. No, but then you wouldn't know who you're logged in as if it's not running. Also, I guess I could just try this right now and find out. So let's go try it. Main. I'll just print out. Where do we do the init of Steam? Where do we do that? Steam.init. Steam init. I should be calling this from somewhere, but I'm not. Maybe I'm calling something else. Because, yeah, I don't see this. Huh. We do this from somewhere. Oh, I guess, we call it Godot Steam, so I could just search for Godot Steam. All right, now we got to find my code, not add-ons. Huh, that's weird. We don't explicitly call it. Does it call it itself? Huh. Yeah, huh. I don't think we ever explicitly initialized this. Let me go. Oh, man. This is so difficult. Let's go look at when we added the add-ons folder, which is under game add-ons. Okay, when did we add this folder? Add achievements is what added it. So I'll just go look at that. So somewhere in here, what I would expect to see, not in abilities, not in this stuff, none of the battle stuff, not that or that or that or that. I would have expected it to be in main somewhere. Yeah, weird. If I type main, does it show up? It doesn't? We never initialized this? Do I have something written about Godot Steam? I don't. Okay. Well, when you launch the game, doesn't it say something about this? I guess we have it right there, right? Calling Steam, caching Steam ID. API loaded, no. Prepend mini dump set mini dump Steam ID. That's presumably my Steam ID. All right, so let's just copy this. That's what we see. And yeah, Steam API init. All right, so that's what we see when we launch right now. But if I close Steam, so quit this, close Steam, and run it again. I don't think it's going to print my ID now because it just said it cached it. There'd be no way for it to know otherwise, right? Yeah, did not locate a running instance of Steam, could not determine Steam client install directory. Yeah. So yeah, I think the answer is if you run the Steam version when Steam is not running, you will not have your cloud save. I don't know how much of a problem this is for the average Steam user. Presumably they just run through Steam most of the time. Maybe they run through some like modding interface. But would mods cloud save your stuff? Steam's normally minimized anyway. Well, I think probably, this is my assumption, and this isn't based on me having done any research, but I imagine that most Steam players will go to Steam and click play on the game, and then whatever happens to Steam afterward doesn't matter. But like probably they navigated through Steam to get to it. Because most users aren't technical, and I mean, that's an easy way to run a game. Hey, Pickle. I didn't even think you could start a Steam game from Steam without having Steam running. Yeah, it's just an executable on your machine at some point. I don't think they do anything to obfuscate that. So you should be able to go into the Steam install path. In fact, I think if we just launch Steam again here. Why does it always put me online on my friends list? Huh. Okay, so if we click this, manage, browse local files, we should just see, yeah, there's just an app on my machine. So nothing stops me from launching this without having Steam open. Maybe you can block that. I don't think you can, but I also don't really want to Because if you launch through here and you're like, where'd my save file go? Presumably you'll go to like the Steam discussion forums or Discord or something. You'll be like, hey, why'd this happen? Or you'll Google it. And people will be like, oh, did you launch through Steam? In fact, actually, let's just search for this. Like, does Terraria or maybe like Stardew Valley support Steam Cloud? Yes, it does. Okay, so how about we search for this now? So Stardew Valley save, like, yeah, save file not found. If you use Steam, ensure that the Steam Cloud feature is functioning correctly. Sometimes playing offline can cause discrepancies. You can disable Cloud Sync temporarily to see if that resolves the issue. Oh, man. Yeah, so when Steam is running and you launch the game, it might not be able to sync because you might not have internet. But as long as Steam is running, it should try saving it locally and then it handles it for you. But I'm guessing this is going to mention probably Steam Cloud somewhere. Huh. They don't mention cloud or syncing on here. And they don't mention it in a way. I don't know. Well, you don't need Steam running for it to save locally, but one of the things they recommend in their documentation is when you figure out where to write your save files, you should use the Steam ID. So instead of doing like Skeleseller / save file, you would do Skeleseller / and then your Steam ID and then the save file. And that way, if there's another Steam player playing, you know, they have some ID like this, then they get a different path. The problem is you can't know what these numbers should be unless Steam is running. So if you don't have Steam running, you can't know which of these files should I have loaded. Which makes me think that maybe the way we should have done this, no, that doesn't make any sense either. I don't know. I don't think we worry about this. Yeah, I don't think we worry about this. All right, so then we go with this route. You know ahead of time which platforms you want, Steam or itch, so we build the right things. Make export presets based on the platform. All right, well, you know what I can do? I can check this in, since this is unrelated to anything else I've done so far. That's weird. What? Why did I get a copyright of 2025? What? Why is this happening? What about the other one? 2025? What's going on? What updates the copyright? I think it's one of these, which we had commented out. But then I don't understand how this even got put in here at all. Unless I had it in Godot. Is there a copyright in here? There is. No, wait, but that's pulling from the project file. Or the export file, this one. So it's only reflected because it's in this file. I don't know what put this in here. Because I commented everything out. Exporting shouldn't put a copyright here, right? Export platform. Yeah, this doesn't modify copyright. What does modify the copyright? It should be the release tool. Yeah, here it is. But what function is it? Modify export presets? I did not run this. All right, well, how about we only run that and we see what happens? And now we need to build flavor. Build flavor, flavor equals whatever. Demo doesn't matter. Demo's not a thing, though. Oh, build flavor. Sure, whatever. All right, let's try that and see what happens. Run. This should be very fast. Yep, done. And now what did it do? Oh, yep, there's a correct copyright. I have no idea how 2025 got there. That makes no sense to me. Nothing should be trying to add in a 2025 copyright. Now, if we revert this file It's possible it was there. No, it can't. It's not possible it's there, or it wouldn't show as a diff. Yeah, it's empty. I don't understand that. The other one has a copyright set of 2025. But this is Windows. Why would it get propagated to the Mac version of this? Okay, well, let's try something. As long as I'm messing stuff up. Let's set this back to what it was, which is just to export the platform. So we have no changes to export presets, and we're just going to run this, which is going to take a minute and a half, but it's actually going to try exporting Mac immediately, which might have modified export presets. It did not. And I didn't manually type in a copyright. I think I'd remember that. But I'm in the last like hour, I mean. Oh, maybe. No, I don't know. I don't have an explanation. You wrote it. You wrote it in there. No wonder there was that remote executable I had. Hey, Thorn. Can't you have written it months ago? No, it just showed up as a diff right now. And before I started the stream, I reverted all the files that I had. So it had to have been within the last 47 minutes, or maybe 48 minutes. And I'm pretty sure I'd remember that. I think after this is done, we're going to see that it'll be modified. And that what it means is that something here is modifying it. And I just don't know what or how. It would feel like it's a bug to me. But so far, we don't see the file show up here. And I didn't have anything else running here, right? I don't think so. So I guess what I'm trying to say is in less than 30 seconds, maybe it will have modified that file. Oh, or could it have been? No, I don't think so. Yeah. So this should be done pretty soon. There it is. Did it modify? It didn't. Yeah. Whew, I do not know. I don't know what did that or how that could have happened. The only thing I could think is that, I mean, I typed something in here and then I deleted it. I wonder if that counted as like it's saved. Oh, it does count. Oh my God. Okay, well then that explains it. Okay, that's not what I'd expect. So I think I know why this happened. Yeah, a while ago, I had the project open and I was like, oh, does Mac have a... Whoops, I keep going to the wrong thing. Here's what probably happened. I must have gone to here and said, oh, it's got a copyright, and pasted it in and just made sure that, yeah, this works and it exports. And then I just left it there. So this will fix it. If I click this and then I click this, reload, now it's going to be gone and it'll never appear again. Happy for the Seahawks. I don't particularly care about football, so I'm happy for them, I guess. In the same way I'd be happy if someone was like, hey, I'm no longer sick, but I didn't know that person. I'd be like, oh, good for you. Yeah, I don't follow football. I didn't even know they had one until we heard fireworks all over the place. So this is gone now. Yeah, all right. Well, that explains that. So now if I type that, delete it, and do that. Yep. All right, cool. Well, we have an answer for that. That is slightly strange behavior, in my opinion, but I guess it makes sense because it's not the project, so it just automatically saves this file. So I'll check this in as just a refactor code. There was a lot of duplication when finding a save file path. Autosave? It is auto-saving, yeah. But the reason... Okay, so here's why this is a little bit strange. Let's say we modify the project settings, and let's say we change anything. We change Skeleseller to Skeleseller 2, and I hit close. This asterisk just appeared at the upper left, indicating that there's a change. And if I go to VS Code... Oh, it actually did modify it automatically. Okay, well then that doesn't make sense to me. It auto-saves even that. Because like if I press save right now, it'll get rid of that asterisk. All right, well, I apparently misremembered how that worked. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how any of this works anymore. Yeah, maybe it was a bug in Godot, and they meant to not autosave, and they did anyway. It doesn't really matter, I guess. All right, so I need export presets for all of these platforms. Is there a duplicate at least? Yes, there is. All right. Yeah. What am I waiting for? I guess the pads have to change too. Yeah, the pads have to change. All right, so we rename this to Mac itch, Windows desktop itch, and Linux itch. Then we rename this to underscore itch. And that should be it. And then we duplicate all of these. Steam, export path, Steam. And then Linux. There we go. Then we change the features in here so that this one has platform itch, maybe. Does that sound reasonable? Or like store itch. Yeah, that's probably pretty good. And then we put this in all of these. And then this one is store Steam. Maybe I should have said target store. Yeah. Okay. I think it's pretty reasonable. Now let's put these next to each other. Runnable. Why does it have runnable on it? This one should too. That didn't duplicate correctly then. Oh, what else didn't duplicate? I got to go verify that all these are exactly the same. I guess we could just do that in the JSON file. Oh no. Only one can be considered runnable? If checked, the preset will be available for use in one-click deploy. Only one preset per platform may be marked as runnable. Can I just not mark any of these as runnable? I don't really care about one-click deploy. I don't even know what that is. What is that? Godot one-click deploy. One-click deploy is a feature that's available once a platform is properly configured and a supported device is connected. Oh, interesting. Okay. Yeah, I don't think that matters for me. If that's even what they're talking about in this. Yeah. Man, I guess, it's one of those things I was just never really interested in, and I somehow am not part of that culture, like football culture. And I recognize it's very pervasive, so it's kind of funny that I just don't have any intersection with it at all. I like esports. All right, so now this is automatically saved. If I were to just export everything now, I think it would work, but I got to go change a bunch of things. We also need to change how the release tool functions, because now we need to know ahead of time, do we want to upload to Steam or itch? And then we need to remember those options. So what this should probably be is not a prompt, but a multiple choice thing. What does this come from? ANSI console? Spectre. Spectre C#. Let's see if we can find a multiple choice answer. There must be one. Console multi-selection. Well, multi-selection would work. Did they show a picture of it? They don't show a picture? Huh. Because I think what I want is, which platform do you want to export for? And it says Steam, itch, or both. And in the future, if we have multiple, we could select, or I could just make it a multi-selection. I don't know, whatever. Yeah, let's just do that. Create a multi-selection prompt by specifying the type and adding choices. Users navigate with arrow keys, toggle selections with spacebar, and confirm with enter. Result is a list of items. Yeah, right? That's probably pretty reasonable. And then if you don't have anything selected, we say that's not okay. So you have to know ahead of time. How far ahead of time? Probably at the very beginning. So instead of prompting for the build flavor first, maybe we... No, wait, but some build flavors are only available in some spots. This is the worst. Maybe we just build everything we can anyway. That doesn't make sense, does it? Yeah, maybe we build everything we can. Well, I guess let's just figure this out. Okay, so problem. I don't know how we should figure out what to build. Option 1 is just always build everything, even if it makes no sense. So, e.g., itch only allows for a single flavor. Wait a second. Oh my god. All right, hold on a second. Isn't there some way to like make a paid executable? Finalize itch page. Then allow you to mark certain builds as free. Okay, so then no, hold on. It doesn't only allow for single flavor. Itch does not have a playtest flavor. But Steam has all 3 flavors. And either way, we may not want to upload to a certain platform. I think this is pretty... Yeah, I don't think it's bad. I think let's just go with option 1. Just build everything. Who cares? Every once in a while, it's going to be too much work, but whatever. We don't have like 100 builds. We have 6. Yeah. So export all platforms needs to change. And then ask to upload is still fine. So platform is currently Mac, Windows, or Linux. And we probably use this everywhere, and it's probably now wrong because it's got to be like Mac itch, Mac Steam. All right, yeah, there's a lot of this. Well, let's read through them. So yeah, let's just search for Mac, for example, and just see. Oh, it's only used in 4 places. There's the definition, and there are 3 other things. There's the Godot platform name. These need to match preset names that show in export. Mac OS. What shows in export? Mac OS. So now we'd add itch or Steam. Okay, that's pretty reasonable. What else? There is the path. That's also pretty reasonable. And then there's, what is this? itch.io channel names. These are decided by itch. Okay, that's also pretty reasonable. All right. Well, then let's make the reasonable changes. Why not? So Mac OS itch. And then we want Steam. And then we need to go modify all these things. So Godot platform names. These all need itch at the end. Then we do the same thing, but we replace this with Steam. Okay? These need to match the export paths. So we duplicate this and add in itch, and it is underscore itch. And then same thing with Steam. And then here, these are only for the itch ones. Where do we use these? Presumably in, yep, here, okay. So this is going to potentially fail if we try getting the channel name for something that doesn't work for itch. So instead of iterating over all platforms, we want to iterate over the itch platforms. Okay, let's do that. It's just got to be an IEnumerable, right? All right, yeah, so internal static IEnumerable platform itch.io channel names. I don't want that. I just want to return platform. It should just be able to fill in the rest for me. Yeah, perfect. Okay, now I want the same thing for Steam. Nice. And now I want to go use those. So this is going to be Godot tools.itch platforms. Wait a second. Why is this a function? It shouldn't be a function. There, and make that same change here. Cool. Surprised it doesn't warn us that we need to move this somewhere else. Okay. So I guess anywhere that we were doing whatever code I used to have here, I should also search for. There are only two other places. Export all platforms. That one's fine. And what is this? Upload to Steam. This should just be Steam. Godot tools.steam platforms. Okay. So if I just cut all of this out and I try running this, it should do nothing, but it shouldn't fail. Oh, whoops. I guess I'm making sure there are no committed changes, so I guess get rid of this too. But yeah, now it shouldn't fail. Yay! All right, well, we're making progress. Am I a mess? I feel like I've been complaining about the difficulty of this for a long time now. But all right, we made our first chunk of progress. I'm going to go take a quick break. This time I will remember to run ads so that you don't have to get hit by them when I come back. So is it jump time? This is not going to work. Is it jump time? It's jump time. Hello again. Close the game. So someone made a new Skeleseller video, which I just started watching while I was on my break. Let me copy this into chat if anyone else wants to watch it too. Or just have it in the background and, you know, Skeleseller videos will get more views. Yeah, there's nothing else. How did my short do that I released this morning? 634. Man, these are not getting a lot of views. What is the... So it's 33 seconds long and people are watching on average for 15 seconds. Eee, that's not good. All right, well, whatever. You can't win them all. Also, the like count, it always kind of starts at 80% and then works its way up. I think a lot of people see these at first and they're like, nah, I'm not watching this. And I don't blame them. I don't watch shorts at all. And every once in a while, I will actually thumbs down a video. But it's not very common. And sometimes it is just a signal to YouTube that I don't want to watch this content and not the creator that I don't like their content. Like, I know there's a feature that you can say, stop recommending this entire channel. And I use that a lot. Like, I've gotten rid of a bunch of like clickbait creators and just people making stuff I don't want to see. But every once in a while, someone makes a video where it's just like, ooh, this is not a good video, or it's not a good video for me. Yeah, thanks, TJ. It probably does help. Either way, it makes me feel good. Okay, so what do we do? I think we should go this route. We need to know ahead of time which platforms you want. So we're just going to X out of that one. Make export presets based on the platform. We're done with that. Make sure when uploading that we pull from the correct output, since it'll be platform specific. Now, I think this will work. I think. We need to test this, of course. And I don't want to make these public. And I think if I do this on itch, it automatically makes it all public. I guess it's like it's hundreds or thousands of views more than a normal video. Yeah. And part of that has to do with how these videos are surfaced. When it's a short video, YouTube can just spew a bunch of them at you. But if they were presenting like 10-minute long videos to you, then yeah, you'd have to be a little bit more careful because people aren't going to watch each one for 10 seconds and determine if they like it. They need to watch for like 30 or 60 seconds to determine if they like it. All right, game dir name. What is this? Oh, just game. What's path to log file? So this is not important. Somewhere here, working directory, Godot executable. Here it is. No, that's not it. What am I talking about? Platform name? Oh, these have the paths built into the exports. Okay, so where do we upload? Upload to itch. So we get the export path. This all looks fine. Then combine it and then just use it, right? Okay, and what about Steam? Create Steam input and output folders. Is there a comment for that? Because I don't think it's super clear to me what we're doing here. Path.get directory name. The export path. The export path is just for Steam. No export paths. Okay, that's good. Update VDF. VDFs have input and output. Content root folder relative to this script file. And build cache and log files. So I kind of want input and output here correlate to content root and build output in Steam's VDF files. Build cache and log files. Steam uses the output for the build cache and log files. Sure, whatever. What is happening right now? Okay, something's going wrong, and I don't know. Oh, there it goes. All right, well, I think this is working. And then parallelize the builds. I do wonder about this. Would I be overwhelming this if I parallelized it? Oh, nice, TJ. Yeah, thank you. I wonder why I didn't push it. So this just goes through every single thing and calls export. Is there anything here that could stomp on something else? File does not contain build errors. Okay, that could potentially be a problem. We should probably put this into their own individual log files and then lump them into the main one at the end. But otherwise, I don't think there's anything that could go wrong here, as long as we can start multiple Godot processes at once. But I should probably worry about that later, because this is just an optimization. I would probably want each build to go to its own log file and then later get put into the combined one. That way each log file looks or like is contiguous. All right, so what's next? So we opted for this, which means we didn't opt for this or this or this. Stop initializing Steam if you're on the itch build. Okay, so now we detect that you have this feature, which is dead simple. We just got to remember what the feature is called. It's target store itch and presumably target store Steam. Yeah. All right, so these, and then we go make a. No. Where do I want to do this? Let's close out of these other things. Isn't there like a has feature? Yeah, here it is. Yeah, feature flags. Okay, great. So we do public static bool is itch build. And this is this. And is Steam build. And that's it. Very simple to do. At build time, we tag, I guess this is set at build/export time to indicate that the build was obtained from itch. And then this is the same thing, but from Steam. All right, so now we have the Booleans as well. Now, when you're on the itch build, stop initializing Steam. The thing is, I don't think we explicitly call initialize, and I don't know where. Don't they have like 3 ways you can initialize? Here it is, initializing Steam. Enable logging Steam app ID. When the game is run through the Steam client, it already knows which game you're playing. During development and testing, you must apply a valid ID, blah, blah, blah. You can set it in a bunch of different ways. Then initialize Steam. In my personal projects, I usually create an autoload G script as a singleton, then call initialize Steam. What? I didn't see this in my own thing, though. Steam in it. Yeah, where is this? I just don't get it. All right, how about this? Let's just look for using Godot Steam. No, that's not a thing. How do I import this? What? Oh, we just use Godot Steam whatever. Okay, then I guess we can search for that. And it's literally only here. And we never call init. Let me just make sure of that. Get achievement, get set achievement, set stat, source stats, is Steam running. Yeah, we never check. Unless is Steam running calls init on its own, does it? Well, it calls is Steam running. Is Steam running could potentially call init. Just like the app ID, you can also initialize it when the game starts by setting the following. Oh, initialize on startup. Oh my God. Okay. I am a smart cookie. Let's go find that. Steam Initialization. Oh, look at that. It's checked. All right, so when does this run? Is this code open source? It should be, right? I want to go find out when they run this. Where's the repo? Codeberg. Right. Okay, so I want to search this. Where's their search code thing? I don't know where the search bar is. Maybe you need to be signed in to search. I don't think I even have an account. Well, let's just clone this then. Temp, get clone that. Why is this taking a long time? Public code. What? Yeah, what? I don't think I've ever seen this lag here. Oh, they don't even have an SSH one? Oh, they have a zip. I'll just download that. Oh, nope, there it goes. All right, yeah. I don't know what that was about. I mean, I'm almost tempted to get the zip at this point. Why is this taking so long? It's running very slowly. Well, it's doing something. Cool. So what we want to search for in here is initialize on startup. Still waiting for it to finish. Got like 16 more objects got to get. Come on. Why is this taking so long? All right, Godot Steam. Initialize on startup. There it is. On startup. Return global get. Okay, so it's in here. It seems a bit slow, yeah. Register settings. So they, oh, here it is, get auto init. All right, so here's their if whatever. Get auto init. Run callbacks. Set internal callbacks. All right, so it's once this thing loads, which Godot must have a way of loading add-ons. I could presumably just do this from main. Yeah, I could just put this here. Potentially init Steam. And I just put this down here somewhere. Private void potentially init. And we say if feature flags is Steam build. All right, great. Now let's turn off initialize. Good. And then what function should we be calling here? Steam init ex. Always send back a dictionary with 2 keys and values. Verbal, the verbose text version of status. And status. Success, a failure, we can't connect, blah, blah, blah. The thing is, I don't really care if it doesn't work, right? Hey, Rainy, how you doing? Function has the following 2 arguments, which are optional: app ID and embed callbacks. Okay, embed callbacks, I don't know what that's about. Was that an option over here? Yes, and it was off, so we just should not pass that in. What is that? False by default? It's optional, but it doesn't tell you what the option is. Okay, well, maybe we can figure it out from something else here. So Godot steam.steam.steam init ex. Retrieve stats. That's not what this said. What? Is there another Steam init ex? No. I see the app ID. I don't know what retrieve stats means if it said there's embed callbacks. I'm guessing that's for getting achievement stuff, which I don't know why I wouldn't want to fetch. What happens by default when I run this? Well, it's in here somewhere, right? They must call it themselves. Where else do we do this? Register types. I mean, there are only 4 places we could have to look, right? Get auto init. Can I use auto initialization and embed callbacks together currently? I just want to see. I just want to see where they call this thing. Auto initialization and manual initialization were used. It's recommended you remove one Steam initialization method. Start init for both. They pass in the app ID and then embed callbacks. So they don't pass in fetch stats. Init ex error message. So there's Steam API. So this is something that they're importing from Steam. No longer exists as of SDK 1.61. What version am I on? How do we even figure that out? CS Proj maybe? Godot, Steam. I don't see it in a CS Proj file. I don't know. Where should this go? Yeah, I don't see this. I guess I could check in here, right? Like add-on somewhere. Maybe it's in the project. I don't know how you find the version of this. README. Where's the current version? How do I even install this? Download it through the asset library. Make sure you don't get the server version. So I got it through the asset library. Huh. Yeah, I don't know how we check the version of this. It's probably in one of the files. All right, well, what did they talk about here? SDK 1.61. So can I just search for 1.61? I mean, it's in a README. But, oh, Steamworks SDK. Oh, I thought it was the Godot Steam version. I don't even know what Steamworks SDK I'm on. Starting in SDK 1.61, the Steam client now automatically syncs statistics and achievements. Okay, well then if it's doing that, maybe I shouldn't even be calling this function here. Like there are multiple Steam inits, right? Yeah. I think we just call Steam init. I don't think we use anything else. And then what does this return? A Boolean. And the Boolean presumably means whether or not this succeeded. Steam init, where are you? There you are. Initialize SDK without worrying about the cause of failure. You can pass your app ID. Nothing is passed. It will not be set. Really? What about the project thing? All right, well, returns bool. What does the Boolean mean? All right, whatever. I don't care. We're just not going to check this. Let's just run this and see what happens. All right, so by default, is Steam build is going to be false. So we should actually go change feature flags so that we consider all debug builds to be Steam builds. Yeah, that's pretty smart. As developers, we act like we're always testing the Steam version, since that's the most common path scenario for players. Yeah, let's go try it. All right, so this should just initialize exactly like how it's been initializing. We should have no problems. We should be able to get achievements. But let's see what the console output is, because it looks like everything just broke. Probably because it doesn't have an app ID. The input string was not in a correct format. Steam init, Steam line 48. Is it? Yep, it's the app ID. Oh, that's a shame. Because it's not fetched from the environment anymore. It's fetched from the project. And I guess it ignores this now that I'm calling it directly. So I need it. Whoa, that is not what I meant to do. Apparently, if you drag this, you're changing the number. I meant to highlight the text. Well, now there's no way to know what I had that set to unless we look at Git. So I guess let's set that back to 0. And then look in Git and see what it used to be set to. So we're not initializing on startup anymore. Where do we get the app ID from? Well, actually, wait, why wouldn't I do this? Let's just put this back in. And then pull it from here somehow. How do we do that? There's a version number in here. We just need to search for that. Version. There, config version. Gotcha. So what we want is, I mean, let's just duplicate this. What we want is this. It's under application. So this one's under Steam. Steam initialization app ID. And .toString is the app ID a string. No, it is a uint. Uint. That's unfortunate. Oh, as uint. All right, 1632 or 64 though. I don't know. Steam app ID number of bits. 64-bit. Okay, sounds good. So this is a uint 64. Test. I meant to write test. Cool. Now we put this into something. I mean, I guess we only use it at startup time, so we could just put it in here. It's not like we ever need this again. Uint 64 app ID equals that. And then what? And it doesn't take an app ID. Retrieve stats is true. App ID colon. Cannot convert. What? Seriously? It's just uint? How do you... This is a U long. I don't even think this is correct. It says as uint32. Maybe Bing's incorrect. 64-bit number means it consists of 17 digits. It doesn't. Steam app ID. That's a user ID, isn't it? The app ID is not very long. Hey, Petro. It is that long. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Steam app ID number of bits. Let's see what Google has to say. This is still account ID. I don't know, whatever. The API returns 32 bits, so we're going to use 32 bits, I guess. How long have I been working on this? It's been about 2 years. There are a couple of links there if you want to check it out, and you don't need to. But the first one's the journal, which shows everything I've done in the last 2 years, pretty much. And then the second one is a video I made specifically to cover like how much has the game changed since I first started working on it. And I really like that video. I think it's pretty good. I highly recommend watching it, although you don't have to, like I said. All right, so are we done? Can I try this? We're nowhere near. We're nowhere near where I want to be. I might actually just continue streaming in the afternoon today too. Although we have another like hour and a half before then. Okay, so it ran, and now what prints out? Loaded, app ID, caching. Okay, this looks like exactly what we had before, although I closed that, so I can't find it again. But yeah, I'm pretty sure this is all correct. So app ID is 630. That should match what's in project.godot, right? Yep. So this is the playtest version. And then my Steam ID is my personal ID, which I don't know. Is there like a Steam ID lookup? I forgot how you do this. I think there is a way. Look up Steam ID. Look up. Yeah, nice. So that's me. So we know that this is correct. Oh, what next? What's next? So this is done. So now on itch, we will not initialize Steam. All right. And now that's it. We got our Booleans. Except for I didn't test uploading. All right, we should probably run the release tool. It's going to take a lot longer now, huh? So we added 3 more export presets. And I said I was going to compare the JSON values, and we never did. Shouldn't this be very easy to do? Preset 2, preset 3, preset 4. Okay, it's going to be slightly harder to do, but not too bad. So let's search for Mac. So we find Mac OS itch and Steam. So this is preset 0. Let's close out of every other tab that we have. All right, so take all of preset 0. Where do you end? My goodness, there's so much. There it is. Okay, cool. So that's preset 0. And now we want the next one, which is preset 1. That was 250 lines, so let's just scroll down to 516 or so. Yep, nice, perfect. And then put that there. So now we compare preset 1 with preset 2, or whatever, 0 with 1. And we should just see the word itch changes to Steam in all these places. Yep. Great. And that's it. That's the only change. That's perfect. .card, thanks for the resub. Happy quarter of a year. I appreciate it. Yeah, nice. So we had to do this another couple times. This isn't that hard to do. It's just kind of annoying. All right, so now preset 2 is Windows. Oh, where'd preset 3 go? Okay, hold on. Let's find this again. Okay, so there's Windows. We want to scroll all the way down to there. Good. And then preset 3. This seems like it might be wrong, but I don't know yet. And Sinistello. Made me realize I could do that too. Thank you. Thank you both, and happy 16 months. Excuse me. Okay, so itch turned to Steam, itch to Steam, itch to Steam. And then what's this down here? Oh, just a new line? Okay, that's fine. And then the final one is whatever the last platform is. I haven't been paying attention to any of these words, so I guess we just did Windows. So now we're doing Linux. And this one. Thank you too, Bedro. All right, itch to Steam, itch to Steam, itch to Steam, preset change, and that's it. Good. Okay, so all of the configuration is exactly the same. So this we can check in. Now project.godot, we made it no longer initialize on startup. I also apparently deleted a new line. I didn't mean to do that. Yeah, there, fixed. Okay, feature flags now has is itch build and is Steam build, which we don't use. Main added system for no reason. And now potentially in its Steam, if is Steam build. And this will print stuff out whether or not it fails. So we don't need to do anything special. Then we changed all of this, which I haven't tested yet. But we're going to test it pretty soon. And then this. Yeah, great. This could be checked in on its own. It doesn't really matter. I'll check it in on its own. Yeah, add clarifying comment. All right, but then everything else is fine. Now it's all part of one commit. And upload tools just changed in terms of what platforms we enumerate. Okay, so time to test. We're going to get rid of this. Wait, let's maybe check this in first. Modify or like allow for add booleans indicating store platform. Okay, so all this commit does is add 2 booleans to the game indicating whether you're on Steam or itch. We default to Steam for developers so that we can test the most common scenario that players will be in. What else should I say? As some consequences of doing this, we no longer initialize Steam when the game came from itch. We have 6 export presets instead of 3 now. And what else? We no longer, well, that's probably about it, right? Yeah, that's it. And I haven't tested exporting yet. I want to do so from a clean state. All right. Let's commit that. And now, what's the best way to do this? I think it's just run the release tool and upload the demo everywhere. How could this fail? Also, why is my camera like way over there? How could this fail? Well, let's start running it and figure it out later. Although we are actually going to be publishing a new demo version and we won't be on main. So I guess ensure no git changes are present. Doesn't this check to see if you're on main? No. Where do we do that? Huh, maybe we don't do that. All right, well, let's just run this. Should start up pretty soon. There it goes. All right, so what build flavor do you want to release? The demo. Current version 8.14, make it 8.15, sure. So now what is it doing? Mac OS itch. Okay, well, now we wait, I guess. Doesn't that command that I made, open exported Mac build, isn't this going to be wrong now? Game out Mac Skeleseller. Yeah, I think this needs to be game out Mac Steam. Oh, what happened? Failed to export. Check the logs. Oh, no. Oh, no. All right, well, let's do that. What do we have here? Target folders does not exist. /Mac itch. I have to make the folders? Really? I don't remember that. Yeah, I don't remember that. Why do we have to create it? Is that always true? All right, I don't know what I'm searching for. Let's just read through this really fast. Project settings. Mac OS. Web export, how to export. The /web folder needs to exist for this to work. Wow. Why don't they just make it? I wonder if they have done that since then. Export path create. I'm not going to read through these. Maybe we could just search for the error. Could not find part of the path. Is that what it was originally? Target folder does not exist or is inaccessible. All right, let's search for that. Export. Because this might be better. No, it didn't find it. What about that? Still nothing? This is probably because this is Mac specific, I bet. Target folder does not exist. Or maybe because I included the colon. Oh, come on. Really? Nothing? And someone's got to file an issue about how this is silly, right? I don't know. Whatever. All right, fine. We're not going to look into that. We're just going to make it ourselves. So when we go to export all platforms, or I could just create it once now, but I think it's easier to have the release tool do this. Yeah. Do we have the output path? Is that here? No. Where's the output path? It's hard coded into the export presets, which means this is going to be annoying, isn't it? Game slash out slash Mac. Yeah, here it is. Export path. Do we ever type out slash into any of the release tool? We don't? All right, then this is a waste of time. Yeah, fine. It's a waste of time. We'll just do this the easy way. Delete all those and then just make all the stupid things. Mac itch, Mac Steam, Linux itch, Linux Steam, Win. Is it Win? It might be Win. I don't actually remember. Windows itch, Windows Steam. Okay, what was it supposed to be? Win, Mac, and Linux. Yeah, Win, Mac, Linux. Good. Okay, now we should try again. What did it modify? It changed the version. I don't really care about that. So export presets got modified. I don't want to do that, do I? No, I don't. Wait, no, but then what did I change? Oh, I just made the folders. Right. Hokey dokey. So I guess we can just amend the last commit and put this in there. Yeah. And now just try running this again. All right. Honestly, this is going pretty well. We're making progress. This is hopefully just going to work the first time. Well, I say the first time, even though this is the second time. But what I mean is, like, we just didn't have folders. That's easy to solve. But once we upload this, it should be fine. We're not getting enough downloads right now anyway for me to be concerned about breaking something, really. Like, how many downloads have we been getting? 2200. Yeah. So it's not like, oh my God, 1,000 people are going to download the wrong thing if I upload the wrong thing. And on Steam, we could put this on a beta branch and then password protect the beta branch and then try this out. So yeah, I'm not super concerned about this. There's very, very little potential fallout from this portion. But this was all a prerequisite for getting Steam Cloud to work, which I have done nothing for so far. And that's what I want to solve today, ideally. Steam Cloud is probably important enough where if it took another day or something, it's worth doing. But if it were to take like 3 weeks, it's not worth doing. I think it's a nice feature to have, though. Oh, what am I? I'm just watching this. This is going to take forever, isn't it? Although this... Oh, it's... Wait, why is it exporting in that order? Mac itch, then Windows itch? Because that's the order I specified them in. Oh, that was stupid. All right, let's go change crypto tools. Yeah, I should put them in the order I want them to export in. So Mac Steam first, then the itch version. Then I don't care what afterward. I guess Steam versions first. Because it's just enumerating over all of these enumeration values. Or, yeah, iterating, sorry. Well, we're what? Halfway done? About to be 2/3. No, wait, we're not halfway done. We're almost halfway done. I thought there were 4 things here. That's the 4th thing. So this is what I want to parallelize, which I think would be easy enough to do. And if my computer is powerful enough, would be way faster. And we could actually put a limit on the parallelization. We could say like only run 2 builds at a time or only run 3 builds at a time and not try to run all 6 at once. Hey man, is Git efficient in managing game assets? It all depends on what kind of assets you have. So there's Git LFS, which is large file storage. If you have, tons of like, I don't know, 50 megabyte art assets or textures or music or something like that, you probably should be looking at a large file storage. But if you're just saving like some sprite sheets, some sound files, it's probably okay. All right, do you want to export to Steam or upload to Steam? Let's try running this first and see what happens. This should be version 0.85 or something like that. What did I set this to? I should really have it print out the version toward the bottom. I think that would help me. 0.815. Is that what this says? 0.815 demo. Good. All right. So I want to try beating a boss and seeing if there's confetti. Yeah, nice. We can unlock this and we can get an adventure, and this won't take any time at all because we're going to go do it. Let's turn this on. Go, my adventurers. Yeah, so I just want to see when we beat this, which will happen in like 10 seconds probably, did the NPCs throw confetti? Because they should. Yeah. Yeah. Nice. Okay. Just quit. So do I want to upload to Steam? Yes. Will it work? Who knows? There's input and output folders here. So if I actually just go look at this right now, this should help. There should be a zip file in here. Mac. Oh, this might fail because you're going to try pulling from Mac Steam and it won't find it. But also there's this problem too, which is that Steam login just never worked. All right, I think we need to fix this. VDF. Demo Depot Win Star. Yeah, I think this is supposed to be Win Steam Star. But I don't think it's going to finish anyway. I never figured this out. The Steam login command just hangs. It doesn't do anything. It doesn't print anything. I don't know what we do about that now. But I'm pretty certain that this is going to fail, even if it were to try to work, because I think we need to change this. So everywhere that we have local path, which should be, what, 9 of these or something? Yeah, 9. We just change it to have that. So there's one, there's another, there's another. There. So all those should be modified now. Let's just take a quick look at that. Where those files go? Here, Win Steam, Mac Steam, Linux Steam, Win Steam, Mac Steam, Linux Steam. Ah, I messed that one up. That's why we check. But yeah, this is just stuck here and will probably be forever stuck. Well, I assume that whatever I did with Butler is also going to be stuck. Upload to itch.sh. Game out, Mac. Yeah, all this should be itch. Is this what we run? Upload to itch? No, it isn't. Where do we run this then? Upload, tools, itch. We get build output with the export path. The export path is pulled from here. We don't modify this in the VDF. I think I did this just out of laziness. Yeah, I probably did this out of laziness. Unless we don't even have those paths here. No, we don't. These are different. Although technically they match. The first part, at least. I need to figure out why I can't upload. I don't know what I'm supposed to do, though. Maybe there's a cache directory I could delete. Where's Steam CMD? Builder OS X / Steam CMD. Is there something in there? Logs? Oh, hey, logs. Yeah, let me take a look at this. Oh my God, look at this. Cache credentials not found. It's waiting for me to type a password the whole time. Well, that mystery's solved. Now I just got to figure out how to fix it. I got to write this down. This is nuts. Where's my troubleshooting? I have a whole bunch of troubleshooting stuff here, huh? Okay, so new troubleshooting section. We're going to say... login hangs / freezes / lags. Well, maybe we just do this and then say keywords, freezes, lags. Okay. So why is that happening? I bet it's because we're not, well, I don't know for sure, but this is probably printing to standard out and this is probably printing to something else, or it's like some special terminal thing. I don't know. Is this Obsidian? Yeah, this is Obsidian. I doubt it would accept password as a CLI argument. That's not how I would want to solve this. I wanted to use cache credentials, and I need to figure out why they're not found. So when this happened to me, it was because Steam CMD was trying to ask my like release tool for a password, but that didn't show in my tools logs. I.e., the real issue is that the cached credentials aren't found. Okay, so how do we fix this? How do we refresh the credentials? Well, let's just search the internet for it for now. It's probably easier. Steam CMD. You can log in via login username and password. Did I ever do this? I have a login command. Did I write something about this? No. I thought I did somewhere though. Maybe it's in my private notes. Hang on, let me look at this off screen for a sec. I have a bunch of stuff here written for Botland. But otherwise, I don't think I have anything. No, I don't. So when did I do this? You get Steam Guard on the first attempt, verify the code, and after that, you only need to use a login username without a password. So I just need to manually do this, and I'm done. Let me take another quick look. I just want to make sure I'm not going to mess anything up and I don't leak anything on stream. So give me a sec. Yeah, oops. I think that's correct. Tip login. Okay, yeah, so let me just try this then. Steam CMD login extonomous. It didn't do anything. Do I need to do plus login? Ah, there we go. Okay, password. I don't know what my password is. Engage privacy mode. All right, let me go find my password. Steam CMD, Steam and Steamworks there. That maybe. Account is protected by Steam Guard. Okay, yeah. So now I just go to Steam and approve sign in. Did it work? Ah, it worked. Okay, so now I quit out of that. I quit out of this. I show you my screen again. Refresh them with Steam CMD plus login, your username, and then manually type in the password. From then on, logging in with just the username should be fine. Hooey. Woo-wee indeed. Okay, let's try this again. This is going to be a little bit annoying. Project Akado. We don't actually need any of these changes. Upload to itch. That looks good. This. Change the order. That's also fine. And then all the VDF files. Okay, this is problematic. We only want to check in the path changes. So revert this file. And all the other files should be okay. Yeah. Hey, Tom. Yeah, your follow age is May 2nd, 2018. And yeah, the last time you were here was a couple months ago. And coincidentally, you did the same thing when you were here last. You said you were here in the Botland days and type follow age again. That was December 3rd. But yeah, welcome back. We are close to the launch of Skeleseller. We are trying to figure out how to get Steam Cloud to work, and there's just a lot of things I need to change for this. So we're going to add this and just commit, amend. Okay, so now what we can do is we can go back to the release tool and we can get rid of all this other stuff like modify or export all platforms. We've already exported. We know they're in the right places. So all I want to do now is, and I guess get rid of this. All I want to do is make sure that the rest of the release works. So we're going to click the play button again and then cross our fingers. Oh, man. All right, so I want the demo version. Yep, oops, I'm pressing enter into the wrong thing. I want the demo version. I want that. Do you want to upload to Steam? Yes. So now it should work. Running command login. It should do the next thing. Come on, come on, come on. It isn't. Oh, wait, no, there it goes. Successfully uploaded to Steam. All right, so now go to the builds page and put this on default. Don't show this on stream. It's on alpha test right now. So I should be able to go test this, but there's a password that I cannot show you guys. So engage privacy mode one more time. And let me go type this in over here. Manage. How do you do this? Properties. It didn't even open properties. What's going on? Oh, there it is. All right, game beta alpha test. Last updated February 3rd. That doesn't sound right. What? What happened here? I'm on the alpha test thing. I see it on Steam. Do you have to pay to have something on Steam? Yeah, $100. But if you earn $1,000, they give you that 100 back. However, if you earn if you earn $1,000, they took 300 from you because they take a 30% cut. So it's like if you make $999 on Steam, you actually made $999 times 0.7 minus 100. So you actually would have made 600, which I don't know why I did that at 60% because it's close enough to 600 out of 1,000. Yeah, so you actually would have had a 40% cut taken out of your first, like less than $1,000. But then afterward, it's a 30%. And I think if you hit like 1 million or 5 million or something, then they lower their cut down to 15 or 20%. To his new super yacht. Man, there's an article I read recently about his new super yacht. And it's pretty crazy. It's got like 6 bedrooms in it. Makes you feel like an amazingly good programmer. I think there will be no end to that demand for a little while. Then if AI gets better, there might not be as much slop. But for now, there's a lot of people who want to fix the slop. Have you considered publishing on Epic Games? Considered, yes. Decided against it because I just don't think it's going to do much and it's going to take a lot of time. You're going to buy a super yacht? I mean, I don't have any plans to. If I somehow stumbled into $100 billion, yeah, maybe I would. But I don't think one simply stumbles into $100 billion. I think you have to do some like crazy amount of trying to get to $100 billion to get to $100 billion. Hey, Codex. All right, so I still do not understand this in that Steam does not show me an update for this. Oh, wait, maybe I need to go into, whoops, that wasn't supposed to show, but there's no password there. Even if the password had shown, it wouldn't have been a big deal. So I think there's a verify integrity of demo files. I think this might work. It did not. Okay, I'm going to go back to being confused. What app is that? This is Steam. I'm going to go back to being confused for a second. It says February 10th at 10:36 a.m., which was 3 minutes ago, that this build that I uploaded is on alpha test. I'm on alpha test and I'm on the demo. Why do I not see a build from February 10th? Well, let's just try playing this. Let's just see what happens. Oops, I meant to click that. Because maybe it'll work. There should say, no, this is 088. This is wrong. That's very strange. The one behind that, this is Godot. Totally. Why don't I see a build here? I don't know. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. Current build is identical to the new one. Yeah. Maybe we just restart Steam. I might as well just try that, right? Oh, that worked. What? How do you... Okay. Oh, wait, no. Now I'm on the wrong branch. Properties, game beta. Oh, that's weird. We don't even have the alpha test branch anymore. All right, well, I can just type in the password. I just mashed a bunch of keys on my keyboard to get this password. Ah, there it goes. Look at it. Updating. Okay. I don't know. Yeah, that was bizarre. So now if I hit play, we should have the new version of this. Hey, virus. Should end in a 5. Yeah. Save files from pre-launch versions of Skeleseller aren't supported if you're seeing this message after March. Why did that happen? Why did that happen? I should probably take a break. All right, let's just take a quick look at this. Save version 13. Save version 13. Yeah, why is it happening? All right, I'll look at that when I come back. Somebody remind me. Well, I'll just start the game and we'll see it. All right, is it jump time? It's jump time. again, close the game. All right, so we got to go back into this and we got to figure out why is that error happening at startup. Did you write the song for the jump game? Yeah. That was part of the Botland soundtrack. I think we have a command for that, yeah. And I think that one was dozed, slowed. Is this the one that plays? Can you even hear this? Oh no, I muted the whole thing. I know, I have two things of music playing. We can turn this one off. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. So that's the first track in the Botland soundtrack. Always like that track. So the error message didn't happen this time around. I'm not sure why. Let me just run this again. Why did it ever happen? Oh, okay. I think I know what happened. It's not even worth explaining. Yeah. It's because I ran the old version of the game. Okay, so now if we continue, we should be able to run this. So this is our thing with 199 gold. Yeah. So I could play this, but there's no real point. Is there any other way to tell that this is the newest version? Oh yeah, we modified keybinds of the controller. Right. Let's go try that. Where's my controller? There's probably a way to get this to work with Bluetooth, right? Like it is a Bluetooth controller. I just always plug it in. Okay. So if we can do this and yeah, nice. It's already working. I can tell because we're not remapping the stick. All right. So this is definitely the most up-to-date thing. Let me unplug this controller now. So then we want to put this on Steam. Well, maybe we do. Maybe we don't actually. I'm not sure. And then upload to itch. Let's go try that. Butler push Mac itch. This is pretty good. This didn't take as long as I thought it might. We worked through it pretty quickly. It was nice to solve those problems. I'm kind of not looking forward to the Steam Cloud part of things now. Okay, so this we don't want to keep. And now we would technically push this, but it's going to make a tag on this branch. Does that make sense? I don't know if tags are on branches. So now if we go to itch, we'll see the new builds. Yeah, builds are now live. So let's go try to download those. Just go in an incognito tab to itch. How do we, is that even, I don't know what I'm doing. Skeleseller. All right, where's the download link? 57 seconds ago. Thanks for downloading. All right. 20 seconds left. 15 seconds. What is going on with my internet right now? Why is everything slow? Huh. Strange. I should probably investigate that. All right, so let's click that button and open this. So this should be exactly the same thing we already just not opened. Oh, right. Ugh. All right, to bypass it, command double click the application when you open it. Or command right click and go to open. Command right click and go to open. What? What was that supposed to do? Well, this isn't correct anymore. How are you supposed to... How are you supposed to open this then? Huh. Hey, the Hulk. What do you think downloading that in 30 seconds is slow? Yeah, it's all relative. All right, well, let's copy this message. I don't know how you're supposed to do this anymore on Mac. Oops, I don't care about the Skeleseller part of this. How do you bypass this anyway? macOS Sequoia bypass gatekeeper. I don't want to disable it. I just want to allow this one app. Is it in Get Info somewhere? Huh. Maybe you can't? Makes you jump through more hoops to disable gatekeeper app checks. Oh, God. Users will no longer be able to control click to override gatekeeper when opening software. They'll need to visit system settings, privacy, and security to review security information for software. Okay, hold on a second. Engage privacy mode. Go take a look at this. Security and privacy. Did Skeleseller show up here? Ah, yeah. Skeleseller.app was blocked to protect your Mac. Open anyway. Yuck. But you're safe now. Oh my God, then I gotta type in my password. All right, did it work? Yeah, it worked. Oh boy. All right. So we got to go modify the Steam or the itch page for that then. How do I get back to that? Get a message about it being blocked by gatekeeper. On Sequoia, you need to open, what's it called? Privacy and settings. And click open anyway. Prior to Sequoia, you could just command right click it and go to open. On Monterey. Oh, I already had this. What are the Mac OS version names? What came before Sequoia? Sonoma, Ventura, Monterey. Okay. So this was like 3 versions ago. And what's this thing called? System settings? Can I make this bold? Yeah, I should do that. Privacy and whoops. Just unzip and run the file named Linux. Is that still correct? It doesn't sound correct. Same message in the last sentence. What? Oh, I fixed it. Okay. Thanks. Linux. How do we download that? There's a way to do that here. Yeah, here, right there. That was probably stupid. I already have it on my machine. I'm costing itch money. All right, what's it called in here? It's called Skeleseller. Okay, so that's not correct anymore either. Bold. Okay, cool. Well, I'm glad we looked at that. So yeah, seems like the release tool is working. So now we can get Steam Cloud to work. Oh. Yeah, now we can get Steam Cloud to work. All right, well, let's go back to what we had, I guess. So if there's a cloud save, use that. This should only be done if we're actually on Steam, but there are two things. There are, well, three scenarios. On itch, always save locally. On Steam, if Steam is running, save with the cloud. If Steam is not running, save locally. Oh, man. I wonder if the reason why Stardew didn't have a problem with this is because they show you all the same save slots regardless of what Steam user you are. Can you disable it per game? Might be another scenario. I think you can. Yeah, hey Puelo. All right, so I guess that's the real question. Do we want to differentiate paths based on Steam user? I think the answer is yes. Well, okay, how about this? If yes, then we run into a problem when you don't have Steam running. That's pretty minor in my opinion. If no, then multiple users will have to manage like JSON files themselves. Well, manage the save files themselves by renaming a folder or copy pasting. So I think we go with yes, and we just don't care about when Steam's not running. But it's also that you turn off cloud saving. There's got to be, okay, look, this is what bugs me. Their official documentation, Steam's, says this: when deciding where to save your files, be sure the path will be unique for the current Steam user. You can't get the current Steam user unless Steam is running. So every game that turns off cloud save, wait, hold on. No, wait, I'm wrong about this. If you turn off cloud save and Steam is running, then it still has your Steam ID. Okay. So hold on. The scenario is really you turn off cloud save. No, it's not even that. It's just you don't have Steam running. We can't get your ID, which means we can't load your old save file. Or we'd have to assume which save file you want. I mean, this is all your machine. It's not a security barrier. It's just a what would the user naturally have wanted here. So I think we just don't accommodate this scenario when you don't have Steam running. And maybe I should write this in here somewhere, Steam Cloud. If Steam isn't running, you won't be able to get the player's Steam ID. This makes sense since we wouldn't know which user you should be logged in as. You can disable Steam Cloud for specific games. Do I have a game that lets you do this? I have very few games. I probably just got these because they were free. So I don't think I can test this myself here. But maybe there's a free game that I could test it with, or I could just log in my other account. Does anyone... Hang on, what am I even trying to figure out? There's like a cloud icon, Steam Cloud disable. There's probably a picture online about this, right? How to get Steam to stop doing cloud saves. Library, right click, untick, keep game saved in the cloud. You can also disable it globally. All right, you can disable Steam Cloud, or not like you, players can disable Steam Cloud altogether or for specific games. In those cases, as long as Steam is running, you'll still be able to get their Steam ID and save to a particular location. It just won't sync it with the cloud. Okay, so what does this mean? What are the scenarios we're trying to support here? When a non-cloud save exists, but no cloud save exists, will it transfer the data properly? I shouldn't phrase this as a question. It should transfer the data to the cloud. folder. When both a non-cloud and a cloud save exists, it should use the cloud save. The demo cloud save should transfer to the release version of the game. Make sure a new Steam player doesn't get the non-cloud save file of another Steam player on the same machine. Okay. If user A transferred non-cloud save data, then Steam user B shouldn't also have that non-cloud save data. Should just start a brand new game without migrating a save file. Okay, make sure an itch player can still play the game with Steam closed. So I guess it doesn't matter whether Steam's closed or not. Make sure an itch player, like an itch player with Steam open, will still not use Steam Cloud. Why is this written here? I think we should delete or rename the non-cloud save file if we transfer it to the cloud version. Alternatively, we could store a file like transferred. Okay, that could go there. Make sure that no matter what, local settings doesn't roam. So that's, I guess, when... Well, yeah, I guess we just leave it like that. Steam doesn't handle that stuff on their own? Handle what stuff? Okay, so there are a couple different configurations, and that's why this is kind of confusing. There's a manual way of controlling stuff, and then there's what's called Steam Auto Cloud. Steam Auto Cloud will pretty much handle everything for you, but there's a specific scenario that we're in that I'm trying to accommodate, which is right now the demo is available and people have save files that aren't in Steam Cloud. When those people buy the full game, I want that demo save file to transfer into their Steam Cloud, because that's what they're going to assume is happening anyway. If we didn't want to support this, it would drastically simplify this scenario. If we didn't support that, then people would lose their demo progress and have to start again, which is not the end of the world. Like, yeah, it's not the end of the world. There were, I don't know, like 9,500 demo players, but tons of them were on such an old version that it wouldn't transfer anyway. And the ones who could have their data transferred may not even buy the game. And the ones who do may not care about starting over. So, yeah, can't you have a save, import, or export like manually for people interested in keeping their demo save? Yeah. Maybe we do just simplify all this stuff. I usually assume demo saves are not compatible. Well, okay, so here's a scenario that we are going to support, which is that, like, no matter what we do, after launching the game, the demo, like, new demo players will have their data transfer. So this is just pretty much given to us for free, I think. So it's just a question of before we launch the game, so in the next, whatever, 36 days or something, do we care about new people who start the demo and we're like, oh yeah, you're gonna, you know, your save data will transfer over. And where it starts to matter is on like March 16th. Imagine you download the demo on March 16th and then March 17th, you're like, oh, I'll buy the game. And then you're like, oh, I got to redo everything I just did. And yeah, sure, we could have instructions on how to migrate your demo save file, but I'm not certain we want to do that. Hey, Vibehuff. Remember I'd seen this post a while ago. If you ever need it, you probably need to enable SSH. Sync deck. Enables a Godot editor to send build games to the Steam Deck. Whoa. Neat. How long is your median demo playtime? The median right now is 1 hour and 54 minutes, but that's because it's still considering lots and lots of players from before I pruned the demo down. So the new median is impossible for me to know for sure, but I'm guessing it's probably like 30 minutes. Now, with that said, 30 minutes, even like, I don't think you'd want to play the game on March 16th to be like, oh man, that was a ton of fun, and then have to be like, I'm redoing all my progress, and nothing will have changed in that experience. Like, there's no big difference between the first 30 minutes of the demo and the first 30 minutes of the release version. And if there's some like external way to copy your save file, I don't know if people are going to care about that. Anyway, let me write this down before I forget. Do I have something on the Steam Deck here? I don't. But maybe I should probably write it on Godot, not on the Steam Deck, right? Do I have any notes at all on this stuff? Steam Deck. No, I don't. If you want to sync builds to a Steam Deck, look into an add-on like this. And then I'll write that in my Steam Deck thing too. Apparently, I could look into to sync builds to the deck. All right, Steam Deck, I guess. Yeah. Okay, great. So let's just say update, add reference to add-on, Steam Deck add-on. Yeah, thanks for telling me about that. Yeah, the median playtime, let me take a look because the stats are here. Median playtime is currently 1 hour and 53 minutes, which, like I said, doesn't mean a lot. But this is over about 9,700 players. I think when we were at 8,500 or 9,000 is when I was like, all right, let's prune the demo down. And then it was exactly 2 hours. So yeah, now you see the 2 hour mark. I mean, for this to have been a median, it had to have said 50% before. But it's dropping. And yet there's still a bunch of people. I was looking at this yesterday. I don't know if these numbers are exact because it's kind of weird that all three of these buckets say 97. But number of players who played from 7 to 8 hours is 97, 8 to 9, 97, 9 to 10, 97, 12 to 13, 97. So it's probably based on standard deviation or something. Although these numbers are different, 193 and 194. So maybe they just coincidentally are all the same. And then, yeah, it's really hard to hover over these and see what these numbers should be. They might be 0, although I kind of doubt that they're exactly 0. Yeah. UX-wise, it feels nicer for my save data to be synced. What other demos do? I don't know. I haven't looked in other demos. I imagine that the ones where you care about saving your data would probably sync it. But if you were playing something like Tetris, you probably don't really care if you have to start again because all it's saving is high scores. So yeah, it probably depends on the game. And I'd like to sync data, and we can do it. Yeah, I have a solution for this. I'm complicating things for myself to support a scenario that at most maybe 1,500 people are in. And of those 1,500, how many are actually going to play the game? So like realistically, this might affect 100 people, and I'm going to spend a bunch of work on just those 100 people. So that's why I'm a little bit torn about this. Because, for example, if somebody played, let's say like a year ago, they played the demo, they played for 2 hours. Actually, not even a year ago. Let's say it's just like 3 months ago or something. Before I prune the demo, this will not transfer. The save version has changed since then, and I've changed the game since then too. So like, I wouldn't want your data to transfer because the game is now different. So that's not a problem. I don't think this is an issue. But yeah, someone who played like today, and then in 36 days they're like, oh cool, I'll buy the game. I already played. So there's one other thing, and I can leave this to players, and it's already left to players, I guess. Saved game found. You probably will want to start a new game when this comes out. So how many people will even click continue? Probably be forgiving of demo data not saving is my thought. I think so too. I'm so torn on this. I do kind of want to just take the easy way out here. Like a quick guide on how to transfer manually, just about knowing which file to copy paste. Yeah, that's it. It really is just that. The problem is, where will people... Yeah, so Steam forums. Okay, I guess, yeah, maybe that's what we do. I think it's a good mix of practicality and time spent. Because I wrote this here, I could probably use Steam Auto Cloud, but it almost certainly would prevent people from porting over their demo saves. Yeah, okay. I think I like this. So let me write this down. I got a bunch of things I got to do. Also, this might make it a tiny bit complicated to do on stream because there's a specific page, and every once in a while, Valve has an NDA at the bottom of their pages, but they don't have it on every page. So that's why I can show wish lists and stuff. But I might not be able to show this. Let me go see if I can find it. There it is, Steam Cloud. Okay, what does it say at the bottom? This restricted access page contains Valve confidential information. Yeah, okay, so I can't show this on stream. Man, this is why I did all this stuff yesterday, because I'm like, oh, I'll get to the point where I can then stream everything. I could probably still stream this and then just not show that one page. That's probably fine. But if I'm going to be on that page for like 30 minutes, then it's going to be very annoying for you to watch my face. I'm just looking at a screen you can't see. Hey, Bedroom. Lurker here. Never played a demo of a game on Steam and not restarted when I bought the full game. Yeah, first of all, hi. Second, yeah, I think I'm on board with this idea because I'm happy with people having their demo transfer. Actually, you know what? Let me think about this. If I code this today and put a new demo version online tomorrow, it should just save to the right spot, and then demo saves will transfer. And it'll just be some tiny portion of time where they wouldn't. In fact, you know what else I could do? No, never mind. Ignore the other part I was going to say. That was a bad idea. I didn't even vocalize. Maybe you can detect which player has a demo save. You can display a pop-up when launching the game for the first time. Yeah, so anything with displaying a pop-up is I probably should localize it. So I think I might just put this on the Steam forums. Hey, Dad. I checked out your stream yesterday. Partially, okay, so I was just kind of curious what you were streaming, but also I think you gave me a shout out like 11 days ago or something, and I'm like, I wonder if I can find that. And it was a 3-hour VOD, and it was toward the end of it. And I went through every like portion of the VOD. I'm like, I will find this. I spent enough time. But anyway, I'm glad that you like the stream enough to keep popping by. Remember assigning some lead mods the other day? Did you know we can assign new mods and revoke mods? Yes, I did know that, and that's why I said don't use any of the new privileges. And I'm being very serious about that. Because I will take away lead mod. All right, so wait, what am I doing? I was writing something down about this. When using Steam Cloud for the first time, migrate. Okay, so this is wrong now. I don't think I should use this. Okay. Demo, I set this. My own save files are that. That's fine, that's fine, that's fine. Okay, so all that's good. And then initially, I wanted to support a scenario where a demo player who had a non-cloud save file would have it transfer to the full version. However, this almost certainly wouldn't have been worth the effort. At the time of writing, the game has like had just shy of 10K demo players, but many of those were on a version so old that transferring their save file would be impossible since I didn't write save migrations. And even the ones who could transfer it probably probably wouldn't be too bothered by having to start anew. And I can add manual transfer instructions to the Steam forums. Okay, so we gotta write a note about that. Add instructions on the Steam forums for how to transfer save files. And mention that the save version needs to... maybe that's not a good idea. Mention when people would even be in this scenario. Mention how to cheat in money if they want to transfer to like act like they transferred it, and mention that this may not work as the game. It may not work depending on your old save file version. It has to be 13. Yeah, I knew about that, Remy. Yeah. I can even remove messages you send in chat, which I thought was really funny. Hey, method. Being able to remove my messages is actually potentially important. Like, let's say you saw me paste in what looks like a password, you could remove it. So I think there are scenarios for it. And obviously, like, I want moderators to use their discretion other than when there's a rule that I have. So for example, I have a rule like don't purge or ban people as a joke. So every once in a while it's funny, like, haha, don't cross me, and then you ban the person or something, and it's like, well, that just removes their messages for everyone in chat. And it makes it frustrating if someone else is reading a legitimate message that like, oh, hey, a mod is just making a joke and now I can't read their messages anymore. It also goes on your, permanent Twitch record. If I click someone's name, like Dialectics, it says 0 mod action, 0 mod comments. So if you just look at a glance and you see like, whoa, 4 bans, you'd probably be like, this doesn't seem like a good user. But if you found out all those were jokes, can I try at least once? No. Take care, Vibe. Thanks for dropping by. And thanks for checking out VODs. Okay, so we don't need to do any of this stuff or this. We need to do the test stuff. Scenarios of test. Yeah. Okay, well, I already mentioned this, and I'm sorry, but I have to do this off screen. So let me take a look at how this works. I'll just try it for the demo, and we'll see what happens. Actually, wait, shouldn't I try it for the playtest version? I don't know what I should try it for. Yeah, I guess the playtest version. Okay, hang on. I still have to do this off screen. I'll try to describe at least what I'm doing. Right now, it's just navigating to where the playtest version is because there's so many different Steamworks pages. Their UI is split into like 3 parts. There's store admin, there's Steamworks admin, and there's something else. I don't remember what the something else is. And I never remember what this is. And the worst offender of all of these things is Twitch. In fact, I could probably show this. So Twitch, if I'm ever trying to find a setting like, oh, hey, where do I find emotes? Like, I think I know where it is now. I think it's under monetization. No, it's not. Community then? Okay, hold on. This kind of shows my problem. Viewer rewards. Okay, there they are. Yeah, all right. This is somewhat new. But yeah, it's really, really hard to figure out where something is in the Twitch settings. And I've been a streamer for a long time, and they moved stuff around. Yeah, I thought I knew. I don't know anything. All right, so yeah, Steam Auto Cloud. Let's go take a look at this. I gotta find this thing. Is it in Steamworks settings? Yes, Steam Cloud. Okay, cool. All right, so Steam Auto Cloud. All right, I should probably read the documentation on this. Alternative Steam Cloud API without writing code or modifying game binaries. Steam will automatically sync the following groups of files when the application launches and exits. Best practices: use a new path for each group of files to sync. Either / or / may be used on Windows, but / must be used on the other ones. Avoid machine-specific configurations such as video quality. To utilize cross-platform syncing, you need to set the OS for each route to all OSs. All right, so this should be really simple, right? What am I doing? How do I click this? Oh, there's an edit button on the right side. That's weird. I added something and it doesn't just immediately go into edit mode. All right, I gotta read the documentation for this. Let's close out everything else that we have open here. And even this stuff, because I don't think I'm gonna use this anymore. In fact, was what I did stupid? No. That was not a knee-jerk no. That was an actual, like, I analyzed what I did. I think it was worthwhile to do what I did this morning. All right, so where do they mention the auto cloud stuff? Because that's what I got to figure out. Here it is. All right, alternative to Steam Cloud API. It allows apps to use Steam Cloud without writing code or modifying the game. I already read that. It only allows you to specify file groups. Yeah. Only requires that you specify them. Automatically sync those. Avoid machine-specific configuration. Sounds good. After completing the initial setup, we'll unlock Steam Cloud settings page. Root paths describe groups of files that will be persisted to Steam Cloud. Each root path can be as specific as a single file or as wide as all files under a given subfolder. Okay, so let's go look at my save file, or folder, I mean. Open dot. So here's what we have, and we don't want to sync local settings. So I want everything other than local settings. Is there a way to omit one file? Five parts. Root. This is predetermined list of paths where game saves are commonly located. All right, what do I have for that? App install directory. That's probably the most common one. The only other choice I have is this one, Steam Cloud Documents. Yeah, I'll just go with app install directory. That's fine. Okay, cool. A note regarding user profile. I don't care about this. We're not going to do that. All right, subdirectory path to the clouded files relative to the root. Use dot if there's no subdirectory. What? Saves dir is filled in by default. It's too bad I don't actually have any games on this machine. Where does this save on Mac? Steam install Steam apps common game folder. All right, where's Steam? There it is. So applications, Steam app. So what am I supposed to find? Steam apps common game folder? Let me go into here. I don't think it's this. No, I don't think it's this. I think it's probably in library somewhere. It's in public. No. Yeah, I don't think it's this. Library. Steam apps. What's in this? Aha, found you. Steam apps. Now what? Common game folder. Common. What games do I have? Oh man, I've got like nothing. All right, let's go into Vampire Survivors, I guess. Let's just open this. Can't be anything private in here, right? Resources. They don't save stuff in here? Or maybe it's because I uninstalled it. What about Nonogram Desserts? Nothing in there. Rogue Legacy? Nothing in there. Unless it's a dot folder? No, it's not. Okay, maybe they saved in a different location. I mean, they could have used any of these ones, right? Like .steam cloud in the home directory. ls-al. Is there Steam Cloud in here? Nope. Maybe those games don't use Steam Cloud. I just want to see what this looked like. Is anyone on a Mac and actually like plays games on Steam? Where did my like millions of path things go? I don't. Oh, here it is. I could switch accounts and that's probably not worth it. All right, whatever. Let's just say save is fine. What do I care, right? Saves dir. All right, what next? AutoCloud special path values. AutoCloud allows the use of unique Steam identifiers in the subdirectory path. This allows you to store save files for each Steam user on the computer separately. You can use get Steam ID in your game to get the current user's Steam ID or account ID to save to and read from. Use this variable in the Steam path to insert a user's 64-bit Steam ID. Use this. So I looked up what's the difference between Steam ID and account ID. Apparently there's a concept of realms. I'm not totally sure what that means in the context of Steam, but it's like beta games or something can go somewhere else. Which makes me think I want to use the account ID because your Steam ID. Wait, no. Ugh, I forgot. Let me pull up my ChatGPT chat that I had about this. It said this. The full Steam ID can encode several things, including the universe, public, beta, etc. Like, I don't know what this is. Is there a beta version of Steam? The type, individual user, clan, game server, lobby, and instance bits. I don't know what any of this stuff is. Like, I guess other things have a Steam ID than just users. So this part makes sense to me, but none of this other stuff does. Yeah, so I think I just use the account ID. Yeah, I'm just going to do that. So let's get this. So I can do savesdir / this. Yeah, sure. Sounds great. Edit. Done. Okay, next. Pattern mask. You can use star as a wildcard. If you want all files, use star. We can't block a file. Yeah, I don't think we can block a file. So we got to put these in different folders. Hey, Mexicans. God, that emote is not fun. I agree that emotes in general are fun. I do not like that one. Yeah, I think we gotta just change this. Or we specify specific file names and not the whole folder. All right, so problem, there's no way to exclude particular files. You just have to write your inclusion filters such that you don't get the file, don't get the excluded file. Yeah. So option 1 is include only the files we know for sure we want to keep. I think this is a bad idea. Option 2 is restructure the save folder so that local settings is in a different spot. Does Steam assign you a person to help onboard you with getting a game on their platform, or is it mostly just docs and guides? There is Steam support. I don't think there's an explicit single person that they assign to you. So I think if I were to have some questions about like, how do I do this? I could probably ask. But I think the only questions I've ever had were, how do I get the game to be released? So like if I go to my, I don't think I can show this, but if I go to my Steam page, there's a release now button. But before that, it's like submit build for review. And this is sort of like what Apple does. They play your game. I don't know how much they test it. I don't know what they're testing as well. Like how thorough are they? What is their checklist? And then they give you a report at the end like, hey, here's some stuff you might want to do, or here's stuff you have to do. So for example, for Botland, they actually looked at my trailer and they said you should drop, I think I had like play now on itch or Steam. They're like, drop the itch part from here. Like put Steam or put the Steam logo or something. So like they did give some feedback. Now, granted, that's not technical feedback. That's their policy, which I respect. That's fine. But yeah, maybe if I'd had a problem with like, oh, hey, I can't get Steam Cloud working, maybe they would have had some way to help me with that. The limb fracture debuff. Yeah. I haven't played Escape from Tarkov, but depicting a fracture is not pleasant. Also, I'm not saying you shouldn't have that emote. I'm just saying it's like watching someone poke an eyeball or something. It just makes my eyes water. Yeah, so I think we need to go to the option 2. Restructure the save folder so the local settings is in a different spot. Because right now we just spew it alongside everything else. So what I'm thinking is, yeah, like right now we have save data and then like, you know, a.json, b.json, and local settings.json. And I think in the future, what we want is save data. Well, it changed into, what's it called? Savesdir. I think it's kind of a dumb name, but savesdir. And then underneath that, we'd have local settings. And under here, we'd have local settings.json. And then we'd have like all other save stuff, save data. And then here we'd have a.json, b.json. So is that good? What would that take to do? Also, how much of your local settings could you actually care about? It's only this stuff. Language is going to be really obvious when you start and it's in a different language. This stuff will not be obvious, but you could always change it during a game. Keybinds might be. I don't think many people probably customize these, especially not for the demo. Game scale, again, these things would be pretty obvious. Yeah, I think it's fine. I think it's okay if we have to write some special instructions. Is JSON easier for your setup? I feel like I see a plain text config file frequently for settings. Hard to say that it'd be easier. I think both are pretty easy, and it all just depends on like how do you expect to read or write it. C# does have built-in JSON serialization, so from that point of view, it makes it a little bit easier. But presumably, I could have serialized the plain text as well, and maybe would have been fine. Hey, Flair. One thing I like about JSON is that it's very easy to understand, and almost every single language you'll ever use will have a way to process it somehow. And yeah, I like having structured data. All right, so we got to change the game for this. And this is what we're going with. So we got to move some stuff around and then make sure it works at least with a new file. But there'd be no way for the old game to detect that you had this thing. Oh, yeah. I guess so. Wait a second, though. Won't I run into an issue if I do this? Will I? Where'd that documentation go? Here it is. Subdirectory. So we'd pick the save file and then pattern if you want all files in the directory. So the subdirectory I pick wouldn't even be the saves directory. Oh, so actually what I could do is I could structure it like this. What's going on here? I could put these files up here. No, I can't. I need it to be separate. I could put this file up here. Yeah, I could do that if I want. So I say anything in the root is not synced by default. And then just sync these folders. Is that any different? I guess it's pretty much identical. It's not like Steam Cloud cares. Yeah. So am I shooting myself in the foot somehow? What happens if I eventually want to move where these paths are? I think I should just make a folder. I think this is the most sensible thing to do. Yeah. Okay. So I can set up the auto cloud thing for this. I mean, it should be pretty easy, right? So pattern inside is going to be, oh wait, I want to say savesdir slash this slash save data. Pattern inside is star.json. And then recursive question mark, what does that do? Include subdirectories when searching for matching files? Sure. Cross-platform, yes. I mean, it doesn't need to be recursive. Oh, I just do update here. Okay, so now how do I do this for cross-platform stuff? To enable cross-platform saves, you should instead define a single root path, likely for Windows, and create root overrides for the other supported platforms. Files matching a given root path, which also has platform root overrides, will... What? If your application is cross-platform and requires different directories for each OS, I don't require different directories. So if I just have the same files on all of these, can't I just specify one? I probably need to test this. A save file on from Mac OS just works on the Steam Deck. This tests cross-platform saves. I think we're just done. I only did this for the playtest version so far. I should probably write that down. Note, as of now, I've only set up Auto Cloud for the playtest version. I need to replicate and publish to the other two versions. All right, so now I've published this. And this is probably going to break anyone who tries to play the playtest version. Who knows? Who knows? But I'm publishing it anyway. Added. Oh, wait, no. This is set to only work for beta testers, I think. I have no idea how we're going to test this stuff. All right, so that's done. So now we got to go replicate this folder structure. Let's go to Game Saver. Get save file path. So path to save file, user : / save data. Oh, darn it. Oh, nice player. 35 streams. All right. Well, that's our local path. But if we're on Steam, we're going to use the cloud save path. Do we ever use globalized path anywhere in the game? Oh, God, we do. Get save backup file. Why do we do this? Auto save. Back up the old save file just in case something ever goes wrong. Okay. Okay, indeed. Path user. What is this for? GUI input. Oh, no. That's not going to be right anymore. This is for logs as well. Logs are still going to go to that directory, won't they? Oh, man. I wonder if you can change the log directory. Change log directory. Post a link to an image preview? Yeah, sure. This is probably in the project settings somewhere. Reload. Log. Pretty typical. File logging. Here we go. Yeah, there it is. Log path. Okay. The problem is if we want to store this in the same place that we store Steam stuff, then I'm going to need to do some extra work, I guess. And it might be too late once the game starts. Although maybe you can set this somehow. Yeah, you could probably set this at runtime. Path at which to store the log files can be specified manually on the command line. This command line is specified. Huh. Well, then I guess you can't. Huh. Well, let's not worry about that. So I want to get your save file directory. Maybe just make a video on this. Mention clicking the version on the title screen to open the new save file path. So I think these are the only places that we do this. Where else do we do path join? What's this about? Get resource paths. Okay, yeah. So then I don't think there's too much to do here. All right, let's make a new function. Public static string get save directory. So if you're on Steam, feature flags.steam, then we get the Steam path for this. I am so confused. This isn't supposed to require changed application code, but it doesn't know where you save this stuff. I don't know if this will work. Yeah, I need to specify the Godot directory for this, which I won't even know. Or I need to store in a well-known location. Because if I'm understanding this correctly... No, wait a sec. Oh, man, yeah, I'm super confused. It says you don't even need to modify your code, right? Where does it say that, though? Default sync only those settings. Oh, associated this. This means, yeah. Yeah, here it is. Alternative to Steam Cloud API that allows you to do this without writing code or modifying the game in any way. How would it be possible to not have to modify your code if you've got a Steam ID in your save file path? I think they're assuming that you're not using these variables. Because, yeah, I can't think of how this could possibly work otherwise. So we're back to not being able to use AutoCloud. Yeah, I think that's the case. Well, if we're back to not using AutoCloud, then I just manage this stuff myself, I think. In which case I would need to call these APIs. I mean, it's not that hard to do this. But I want to save your backups as well. I guess I don't need to save the backups. Oh, man. All right, what files do I have in here? Metrics ID. I don't think this is needed anymore, right? Metrics ID. No, let's just delete that. Or maybe let's save like a save data backup. And what's the date today? 2/10/26. All right, so we're going to delete metrics ID. Save with watch outro. I don't know what that was supposed to be. In fact, maybe I should just delete everything. Yeah, let's delete everything. Let's start the game again. We're going to cut this out. Oh, man. Oh, I'm running the wrong thing. Whoopsie. Whoops. So it detects that it's my first time ever playing. Wait, what? Why is this showing here? Maybe on a debug build it shows by default, but I don't think it should. Town menu, or no, title screen. Challenge mode. Visible equals that we're not in the demo. And you've unlocked challenge mode, though. What? We haven't unlocked it. Oh, is debugger playtest? Okay, sure. So now what? I play the game. And I just hit save. And we'll get a new file. So right now we have CM save and local settings. We should also get save.json now. Perfect. If I save again, or no, wait, if it auto saves, it'll give me a backup file. Let me set this to 8x. I want to go find out how autosave works. Here it is. Save frequency is 300 and I'm running 8x speed. So it's going to be, what? 37 seconds. So, I mean, it should happen pretty soon then, right? So we should just see a file appear here at some point. I want to just get all the save files that you can actually make in the game. Where is this file? Maybe I'm wrong about that? This is... Oh, there it is. Yep, nice. Okay, cool. So there's the backup file. Now we go into bone mode. And we start a scenario. And we beat it. Hey, nice. We got an achievement. And now we ended up with backups for everything and files for everything. And that's the totality of what we could possibly have. All right. I mean, that's not bad. Let's go into that folder. CD library / free. This is what I want. Well, can I do it one file up and type tree save data? Does it print that out? Yeah, nice. That's what I want. I want the little folder icon. I want a copy. There we go. Here are all of the files I have right now. Okie dokie. So the real thing I need to do, I don't think I can use Auto Cloud because I want to put the Steam account ID into the path and my game doesn't know about that path. There's got to be a page about this somewhere though, right? Steam Auto Cloud with account ID. And I just want to see what people are saying about this. Someone said they made a tutorial. Where did that show up? I just implemented Steam Cloud Save. Figured I'd make a tutorial on how to do it. It's not that complicated. Is that even in here? It's not in this post. Huh. Where's that? Where is that post from? Yeah, I don't even see where that is. I mean, there could have been a deleted comment here, but I don't see one. All right, let me just search for this. Here it is. Why did you post a Unity tutorial on this subreddit? Only about 10% of the video footage contains Unity. It's a Steam tutorial. I'm in the process of publishing a game. It's very timely. I mean, I'm not going to watch this on stream right now, but I might save this to watch later. So I think we'll just try this in the afternoon. Yeah. Let me write down what I have to do. So I just need to change code when on Steam. Oh, Steam has to be running too. when on Steam and when on a Steam build and Steam is running, try saving to cloud path. When on Steam and Steam is not running, maybe show a dialogue saying you're on a Steam build without Steam running. This saves to a non-cloud location. And when not on a Steam build, also save. Save to a local path. All right, I don't think this should be too bad. And then we just go try this out. After changing that code, test everything out. So now what else? Yeah, this. Okay, add instructions on the Steam forums. At first boot, if there's a cloud save, use that. We don't need to do this stuff, right? This is just, oh man. I'll just save that for now. Yeah, I'll save that for now. Okay. Yeah. So I think I've made up my mind. I think I'm going to make today a full stream day, and we'll just keep working on this the rest of the day. And I'm going to get lunch between now and then. And the script keeps taking longer and longer. I wonder if I wrote it stupidly. Work towards supporting Steam Cloud. I had to modify the build process to make itch and Steam specific versions. Did I write why I did that? I don't think I even did, except for in the commit message. Hey, Goose. Yeah, I don't think I did. Maybe I'll write it in here. Yeah. Steam Cloud notes. So I have a bunch of notes over here. Steam Cloud. But I wanted to mention something specific. I'm publishing Skeleseller on itch and on Steam. When a player downloads the game from itch, it shouldn't try using Steam features, even if Steam is running. Well, it shouldn't try using Steam Cloud, even if Steam is running, since it's not an intentional choice from the user. And they may later run Skeleseller without Steam open and then have a different save location. As a result, I needed the game to know whether it was on an itch build or a Steam build. I did that by making 3 more export presets. So I have platform underscore store Mac itch and Mac Steam. Yeah. Hey, Smurf. I'm using Godot's Steam. I'm guessing this is specifically just for like a couple of APIs here. There's save and there's load and then some signals for this stuff. I presumably have those things over here too. Yeah, there's file write, file share, file forget. Probably some load file. Anyway, I'll look into that in the afternoon. What else do I have here? That's all I needed to know, whether the game was run from an itch build or a Steam build. I did that by making 3 more export presets. Yeah. Then each preset has a custom feature indicating the store platform. Yeah. Query at runtime. Yeah, I'm glad I did that. All right, I need food. So I'm going to take a quick lunch break. Well, quick. I'm going to probably be gone for like an hour. So I am going to watch that video that I shared earlier. I think this is it. Hang on. First, let me make sure YouTube is muted before I load this. So it is not. I'm glad I looked at that. Yeah, that's the right video. Yeah, I'm going to go watch that. That should be fun. And what was that? I've got a couple of comments. Keep up the great work. Good job. You got this. Excited to play the game. Well, we're hearting both of those comments. Yeah, thank you all for watching. I am still very excited about releasing Skeleseller, and there are these couple of like speed bumps I feel like we've been going over. Yesterday was the controller support stuff, and that's a load off my mind. And once we're done with Steam Cloud, that'll be a load off my mind. And then I think we can start tackling things that are a little bit more sort of down to earth for me. So cheers to everyone. I will see you later in about an hour. And hey, Goose. So yeah, I hope you'll come back for the afternoon stream. Goodbye, everyone.